Have you ever seen a man break without a single word being said? Not because you shouted, not because you begged, not because you tried to explain, but because you went completely silent. It's strange, isn't it? How silence, something so quiet, can shake a man more than any fight, any long message or any late-night call. When a woman stops talking, stops chasing, stops being available, it hits different. And if you've ever tried the no-contact strategy, you already know this truth. Nothing makes a man crumble faster than realizing the voice he took for granted is no longer there. Right now, he may think he's in control. He thinks he can leave, explore, play, and come back whenever he wants. He's expecting your call. He's waiting for your message. He's counting on you to break the silence first. But you won't. Not this time. Because this silence, it's not weakness, it's power. And the longer it lasts, the louder it becomes in his world. You see, silence is not empty. It's full of all the things he never appreciated, your kindness, your loyalty, your love. And when those things disappear, it leaves a hole nothing else can fill. There's a quote that says, "Silence is the ultimate weapon of power." And in relationships, it's the kind of power that turns everything upside down. Because when you stop explaining yourself, when you stop making excuses for his behavior, when you stop giving him access to your energy, your presence becomes the thing he misses the most. A woman who goes silent after being treated like she doesn't matter becomes the loudest voice in a man's mind. And the longer you stay quiet, the more he starts to notice. Not just your absence, but the emptiness it creates. Think of it like this. Imagine a room where a beautiful song once played every day. He got used to the music, stopped paying attention to it. Maybe he even turned the volume down. But then one day, it stopped. Completely. And now, all he hears is silence. That silence haunts him. Because now, he's left with memories of what once filled the room, and no matter how hard he tries, he can't get it back. That's exactly what happens when you remove yourself from a man's life, without warning, without noise, without drama. Just silence. This isn't about playing games. This is about understanding your worth. You gave your heart, your time, your attention, and if he didn't see the value in it, it's not your job to remind him. It's your job to walk away with grace. And when you do, that's when the real shift begins. He won't admit it at first. He'll act like he's fine. He'll pretend like he doesn't care. But deep down, the silence will eat at him. Because silence forces him to sit with the truth. And the truth is, he lost something real. Now listen closely, because this is the part where everything changes. You are not just any woman, and what you gave him wasn't ordinary. It was real. It was rare. And when you choose silence, when you choose distance, you're not walking away. You're rising, slowly, quietly, powerfully. That's when she is no longer the woman who begged to be seen. That's when she becomes the woman who reigns without a word. Beautiful lady, this is your beginning. The moment you stop chasing and start choosing. The moment you stop talking and start glowing. The moment you stop asking why and start building a life where you no longer wait to be chosen. Because the truth is, you were never meant to chase. You were meant to reign. And now, you will. If this message touched something deep inside you, if it reminded you of your worth, your power, your silence that speaks louder than words, then take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are working hard every single day to create content that heals, uplifts, and empowers strong women like you. You deserve to feel seen, heard, and unstoppable, and we're here to remind you of that every step of the way. Number 1, the voice. He once ignored will become the echo that haunts him. Have you ever wondered what it feels like when the voice he once took for granted suddenly disappears. Not because it was forced to go quiet, but because it chose silence. Not because there was nothing left to say, but because everything had already been said and he still didn't listen. That's when the silence becomes louder than words. That's when the voice he ignored turns into the echo that follows him everywhere he goes. He may have smiled when you stopped texting. He may have acted calm when you didn't call. He may have even told himself that you were just being emotional, that you would come back, just like always. But deep down, there's a shift, a discomfort, a void. Because the truth is, a woman's voice is not just sound, it's presence, it's energy. And when that energy leaves his life, it creates a silence that speaks louder than anything you ever said. There's a quote that says, "The silence of a strong woman is louder than the noise of 1,000 words." And that silence? It's not empty. It's full of meaning. It's full of truth. It holds all the times you defended him, supported him, chose him, even when he didn't choose you. It holds the strength you found when you finally realized that speaking louder wasn't going to change anything. Because it's not your voice he needed to hear, it was your absence. Imagine a radio station playing your favorite song. At first, it's all you want to hear. Then, you get used to it. You stop noticing the melody. You stop listening to the lyrics. And one day, it's gone, replaced by static. That's when you realize how much it meant to you. That's what happens to him. He got used to your voice, your good morning messages, your late night check-ins, the way you made him feel seen, even when he didn't deserve it. But now, it's static. And that silence, it will echo through every empty space in his life. Right now, he may pretend it doesn't affect him. He may distract himself. He may even entertain someone else to fill the silence. But that doesn't last, because the kind of voice you had, the kind that loved him, lifted him, and believed in him, it's not something he can replace. He didn't just lose a woman. He lost the one who saw him when no one else did. And that echo of your presence, your love, your warmth, it follows him. It whispers in the spaces where your words used to be. You might feel like disappearing made you weak, but in reality, it made you untouchable. Because now, he sees what he couldn't see when you were loud with love. Now, in the silence, he hears the truth. You're not waiting, you're not hurting, you're healing, you're rebuilding. And when he finally realizes that the voice he once ignored is the one he now craves, it will be too late. Because queens don't return to prove their worth. They walk away and let the silence speak for them. Dear lady, you were not born to beg. You were not meant to break. You were never the one who needed to be chosen. You were the voice of calm in his chaos, the melody in his noise. And now, you are the silence that sings of power, of peace, of strength. He didn't hear you when you loved him out loud. Now he will hear you over and over again in the silence that surrounds him. You are not broken. You are becoming. You are not gone. You are rising. This is not about revenge. This is about evolution. Because now, you're not just the woman he took for granted. You are the woman he will never forget. Write this in the comments and claim your power. My silence is the echo he can't escape. Let the world know you are done explaining, done chasing, done breaking yourself for a man who didn't listen when you were loving him the loudest. And if this message spoke to your soul, if it reminded you of your strength, your fire, your worth, then like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're working hard to bring you life-changing lessons that help you reclaim your crown. Because queens, your silence is not the end, it's the beginning of your reign. Number 2. He took your presence for granted now. Your absence is the punishment he can't escape. Have you ever noticed how loud silence can become when the one you once loved is no longer around? He didn't realize it at first. He thought your presence was permanent. He thought you would always answer, always care, always be there. But now that you're gone, really gone, he's starting to feel it. And what's worse, it's not the sound of your voice that echoes in his mind. It's the silence. That silence is heavier than any words you could have spoken. It's haunting. Because he didn't lose a conversation, he lost a connection. One that he thought he could ignore and still keep. There's something powerful about removing your energy from a man who thought you'd never walk away. He didn't take you seriously when you spoke up. He didn't listen when you tried to express how you felt. He believed you were just emotional, just overthinking. He didn't realize that every time he brushed off your feelings, every time he chose to stay silent in the moments you needed him the most, you were slowly pulling back. And now, you're gone. No messages, no late-night calls, no checking in. And that's the real punishment, not because you're trying to hurt him, but because you finally chose peace. There's a quote that says, "Your absence will teach him what your presence never could." And that truth will hit him harder than he ever expected. He'll scroll through old messages. He'll replay your voice in his mind. He'll stare at the screen hoping your name pops up. But it won't. Because now he's facing the one thing he never thought would happen. He's living in a world where your presence no longer exists, and your silence is louder than ever. Imagine a lighthouse on the shore. Its light was always there, guiding, steady, dependable. But one day, the light goes out. Not because it was broken, but because no one cared to keep it burning. Now the sea is dark, and he's out there, drifting, looking for a light that's no longer shining for him. That's what your absence feels like. He didn't think it mattered, until it disappeared. And now he's crumbling. Not all at once, slowly, quietly, behind the smile, behind the distractions. He won't say it out loud. He won't show the world. But in those quiet hours, when no one's around, when he's left with only his thoughts, he feels it. The pain, the emptiness, the weight of everything he took for granted. And the worst part? He knows it's his fault. Because you gave him everything, and he treated it like it was nothing. You were never asking for too much. You were giving too much to someone who didn't know how to handle it. But now, something has changed. You've gone quiet, not because you're weak, but because you've had enough. And that silence is your boundary. That silence is your strength. That silence is what's showing him exactly what he lost. Dear lady, you were never the problem. You were the blessing he didn't recognize. And now he's living with the reality of your absence. No contact is not revenge, it's recovery. And you are not disappearing. You are rising, slowly, fiercely, unapologetically. You are not broken. You are just done trying to fix what he kept breaking. And now it's time. Time to become the woman you were always meant to be. The woman who doesn't beg to be seen. The woman who doesn't explain why she matters. The woman who walks away in silence and lets that silence speak volumes. That's when you begin to live like a queen. Not because you were given a crown, but because you built one out of every piece he left behind. So let him feel it. Let him sit in the emptiness he created. Let your silence be the mirror he can't look away from. Because you didn't leave to teach him a lesson. You left to remind yourself of your worth. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. My absence is the punishment he can't escape. Let the world know that you're done explaining, done waiting, done breaking yourself to be understood. Number 3, he thought you'd break, but you vanished instead, and that's what broke him. Have you ever seen the look in his eyes when he finally realizes you're not coming back? Not because you said it, Not because you yelled it, but because you vanished. No text, no call, no explanation, just silence. That's the moment everything shifted. That's the moment he broke. Because he thought you would break first. He thought you'd beg for answers, cry for closure, wait by the phone hoping he'd change his mind. He thought he could walk away, ignore your feelings, replace your presence, and that somehow you'd still be there when he was ready to come back. But you didn't. You disappeared, and that silence spoke louder than every word you never said. There's a saying, silence isn't empty, it's full of answers. And when you stopped responding, when you stopped giving him the comfort of your attention, your presence, your effort, that silence started screaming at him. At first he didn't notice. He thought your silence was just space, a phase, a game. But silence, when real, when deep, when final, it starts to sting. It starts to haunt. Because now he's left alone with his own thoughts. And those thoughts, they're not so comforting. He thought he had time. He thought you'd always be available. He thought he could treat you like a backup plan. But Queens, you are not a backup plan. You are the whole future, and he missed it. It's like holding a balloon in your hand. You feel the string, the pull, the weight. But the second you let it go, it drifts higher, further, out of reach, and suddenly you're staring at the sky, wishing you had held on just a little tighter. That's what he feels now, watching you rise while he stays stuck in regret. You see, silence is not just about ignoring, it's about reclaiming your power. When you go quiet, it's not because you have nothing to say, it's because he no longer deserves your words, your love, your energy. That's what breaks him. Not the shouting, not the tears, but the fact that you walked away without a sound. Because a woman who can walk away without looking back, that's the kind of woman who stays in his mind forever. And that's where he'll live now, in memories, in regret, in what-ifs. But you're not broken. You are rising. At first, you were just trying to survive the pain, the rejection, the betrayal. But somewhere in that silence, something inside you started to wake up. A fire, a force, a woman who no longer asks to be chosen. And now, beautiful lady, this is your turning point. This is where you stop living in the pain of his choices and start living in the power of your own. This is where you begin the journey of a queen. Because a queen does not chase. A queen does not explain. A queen does not wait for a man to wake up and see her worth. A queen rises. A queen disappears from his world and becomes a legend in his mind. And when he finally realizes what he lost, it will be too late. Let him sit in the silence. Let him feel the void. Let him crumble under the weight of what he didn't cherish. Because you didn't break. You vanished. And that lovely woman is what broke him. Now breathe in this truth. I do not break. I disappear. I rise. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. I do not break. I disappear. I rise. Let it be your vow. Let it be your reminder. And let it be the words he will hear in the silence every time he thinks of you. Number 4. He played with fire, and now he's freezing without your warmth. Have you ever seen a man melt under your warmth, only to act like he didn't need it until it was gone? He played with fire. He lit a match, thinking he could control the flame. He stood close enough to feel your heat, but stayed far enough to not get burned. He thought your love would always be there, glowing quietly in the background. But fire doesn't wait forever. And when a man keeps testing your warmth, keeps taking your presence for granted, one day he wakes up in the cold, shivering, lost, and completely alone. Right now, He may pretend like your silence doesn't matter. He may post, laugh, or even act like he's doing just fine. But trust this, he feels it. Because there was a time when you gave him your all. You checked on him. You lifted him. You loved him in ways no one else ever has. You were the heat in his darkest moments. The fire that stayed even when he didn't deserve it. And now that fire is gone. Not because it burned out, but because you chose to walk away before it burned you instead. There's a quote that says, "She remembered who she was, and the game changed." That's what silence does. It reminds you of your power, and it forces him to remember everything he lost. Words can be ignored, arguments can be twisted, but silence is honest. It speaks louder than anything you could have said. He doesn't hear your voice now, but he hears your absence. And that silence, it wraps around him like winter. No comfort, no warmth, just the cold truth. Imagine a campfire on a cold night. He sat by it, soaking in the heat, holding out his hands. But the whole time, he never once added wood to keep it alive. He never protected it. He never appreciated it. He assumed the fire would just keep burning. But now, the fire is gone. The ashes are cold. And he's standing in the dark, looking around, wondering where all the warmth went. That is what your silence feels like to him now. He played with fire, and now he's freezing without it. You gave him more than just attention. You gave him emotional safety. You made him feel like he mattered, like he was chosen. But instead of rising to match your energy, he got comfortable. He thought he had time. He thought you'd always be around. But silence is not just space. It is a message. And now that message is loud and clear. You're done playing small to keep him warm. Let him freeze. Let him feel what life is like without your light. Because this isn't about revenge. This is about return. The return of your peace. The return of your dignity. The return of your throne. You are no longer the woman who waits to be chosen. You are the woman who chooses herself. Quietly, completely, and with a fire he will never touch again. He underestimated you. He thought you'd stay. He thought your love was a guarantee. But now, he's learning the hard way that the warmth he wasted is the same warmth he's begging for in his mind every night. No contact isn't silence. It's self-respect. It's knowing your worth. And when a woman who once gave everything goes silent, a man starts to crumble. Because nothing hurts more than realizing the fire he ignored now burns for no one but her. Dear woman, if you're feeling that pull to reach out, to break the silence, stop. Think of your power. Think of the fire inside you. He chose the cold. Let him feel it. And while he's sitting there, hoping the flame returns, you'll be rising into a new life. A better one. A stronger one. One where your love is given to someone who never needs to be taught how to keep it. You are not broken. You are fire reborn. You don't beg. You don't chase. You reign. And now that warmth, that love, it belongs to you. He played with fire. Now he can freeze in regret. Queens, write this in the comments and claim your power. He played with fire. Now he can freeze without me. Let the world know you're done being taken for granted. And if this message spoke to your heart, if it reminded you of your strength, your silence, and your power, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are working every day to bring you real, powerful, life-changing lessons because you deserve to be reminded of who you truly are. Number 5. The door you quietly closed is the one he'll spend forever knocking on. Have you ever seen a man stand in front of a closed door, knocking again and again, long after he was the one who walked away from it? At first, he thought he had time. He thought the door would always stay open. He believed you'd wait, that no matter how many times he left, you'd be standing there, holding it open, hoping, hurting, welcoming him back. But not this time. This time, you closed it. Quietly, without a single word. And now that silence is louder than anything you could have said. He didn't hear a bang. There was no fight, no drama, just quiet. And that's what makes it hit harder. Because it wasn't anger that made you walk away, it was peace. The kind of peace that comes when a woman finally realizes she deserves more. And now every time he knocks, it's not your voice he hears, it's the sound of his own regret. There's a quote that says, "Never regret closing a door that led to nowhere." And your silence. That was the door he thought he controlled. But he didn't realize every time he lied, every time he ignored your worth, every time he made you feel like an option, he was slowly walking out. And when you finally closed that door, you did it with dignity. No yelling, no warnings, just silence. And that silence, that's the sound of a woman who's done being used. Think of a garden gate. You watered it, kept it clean, made sure it stayed open for him. Every single time. He would come and go, carelessly. Sometimes he didn't even say goodbye. But one day, you stopped waiting by the gate. You locked it. Not out of hate, but because you finally saw that love is not about leaving the gate open. It's about protecting what's behind it. And now, he stands there, hands in his pockets, kicking the dust, wishing he had treated the gate better, wishing he had treated you better. He may laugh at first. He may act like he's unbothered. But that silence, it follows him every time he looks at his phone, every time he lies awake at night, every time he thinks about what he used to have and how easily he let it go. He'll try to fill the space with distractions, but the truth is, no voice, no touch, no smile will ever feel like yours. Because you weren't just another chapter, you were the whole book. And now, that story is closed. You see, this isn't about playing games, this is about self-respect. You gave him everything, and what did he do? He gambled with it. And now, he's learning that real love doesn't come with unlimited chances. That silence isn't emptiness, it's strength. That the door he took for granted, it now leads to a place he can no longer reach. And this is where everything changes for you. You are not standing behind that door, hoping he figures it out. You are not pacing in circles, checking your phone, wondering if he'll come to his senses. You are rebuilding your life, quietly, powerfully, unapologetically. You are no longer the woman who waits. You are the woman who reigns. Lovely woman, this is your moment. You didn't slam the door, you outgrew the room behind it. He underestimated your silence, but that silence became the wall he can't break through. He will knock, he will wonder, but he will not find you where he left you, because the girl who used to wait, she's gone, and in her place now stands a queen. So, write this in the comments and claim it. The door is closed, and I'm not coming back. Say it with your whole heart, queens. This is your power. This is your healing. This is your rise. Number 6. Your silence turned into a mirror. He can't bear to look into. Have you ever watched a man avoid a mirror? Not because of what's on his face, but because of what's inside him. Because when silence replaces your voice, it becomes a reflection he cannot escape. You didn't shout, you didn't explain, you didn't beg, you just went quiet. And now, that silence has turned into the mirror he can't bear to look into. Because every time he feels that emptiness, it reminds him of what he lost, and the truth behind why he lost it. He thought silence meant you were weak. He thought you were waiting. He believed that no words meant no strength, but silence speaks, and it's louder than he ever expected. He sits in rooms that once echoed with your laughter, and now they feel cold. He checks his phone, only to find your name missing. He replays old conversations, trying to find comfort, but all he hears now is the silence you left behind. And that silence, it's not just quiet, it's truth. Truth he never wanted to face. There's a quote that says, "What you avoid in silence becomes your loudest truth." And right now, silence is screaming at him, not with anger, not with revenge, but with everything he failed to see when you were right in front of him. He sees the woman who gave him everything, the woman who stayed through storms, the woman who never asked for more than honesty and effort. And he also sees the man who didn't show up for her. Think of it like standing in front of a broken mirror. Every crack is a choice he made. Every shattered piece shows a moment when he could have held on to you, but didn't. And now the silence makes him look straight at that mirror. No distractions, no excuses. Just the image of the man who let a rare woman walk away. He'll try to fill the silence. He'll distract himself. He'll reach out to other women, searching for your energy in new faces. But it won't work. Because silence doesn't go away when you ignore it. It grows louder. And yours is roaring now, not because you wanted to hurt him, but because you finally chose peace over chaos. You finally realized that chasing love is not your job. Your job is to be love. And let him realize, when it's too late, that he lost something real. And now, beautiful lady, this is your moment. You are not broken. You are not forgotten. You are not replaceable. You are just beginning. You don't need to explain why you left. Your silence already said it all. You don't need to argue your worth. Your absence already proved it. What he sees now is not just a woman who walked away. What he sees is a woman who stopped shrinking and started reigning. You are no longer the woman who waits by the phone. You are no longer the woman who needs to be seen. You are becoming the woman who commands the room with her silence. You are not here to be understood. You are here to be unforgettable. The mirror he avoids, it's the reflection of your strength. And that, queens, is a truth he cannot run from. So rise, dear lady. Let your silence be the storm he didn't prepare for. Let it be the mirror he can't unsee. Let it be the reminder that not every woman begs for closure. Some women become the closure. And you are that woman now. Write this in the comments and claim your power. My silence is the mirror he can't escape. Let the world know you are done explaining, done waiting, done shrinking. Number 7. He thought you were just quiet. He didn't know you were rebuilding a kingdom without him. He thought your silence meant weakness. He thought you were just sitting there, quiet, hurting, hoping he'd come back. He believed that the lack of your words meant the lack of a plan. But what he didn't know, what he never even imagined, is that while he was out there acting unbothered, you were building, you were growing, you were rebuilding your entire kingdom without him. Quietly, powerfully, unstoppably. There's a strange power in silence. It makes people uncomfortable. It makes the mind run wild. And for him, it will start slowly. At first, he won't notice. He'll think it's just a phase. He'll believe you're going to come back like before. But time will pass. Days will turn into weeks. And when your silence doesn't break, when your energy doesn't return to him, that's when it will hit him. You're not just quiet. You're gone. And while he was playing games, you were rewriting your story. A quiet woman is not a defeated woman. A quiet woman is a woman who knows her power. Because real power doesn't beg. It doesn't scream. It doesn't need to explain. Real power is felt when there's nothing left to say. And your silence? It will become the loudest sound in his life. Because he's going to feel it in every room you used to light up. He's going to hear it in every moment he expects your call. And he's going to crumble, when he realizes you're no longer waiting. As Rumi once said, "Raise your words, not your voice. It is rain that grows flowers, not thunder." And Queen, your silence is the rain. Quiet, software. But behind that quiet is growth, healing, transformation. The version of you that's being born in this silence is stronger than he has ever seen. Because this time, you're not building for him, you're building for yourself. Imagine a garden after a storm. At first, everything looks broken, but give it time, a new life starts to rise, stronger, more beautiful. That's you. He thought you were done blooming. He thought silence meant defeat. But while he was gone, while he was distracted, you were planting seeds. And when they finally blossom, he won't recognize the woman standing in front of him, because she's not the same one he left behind. He thought silence meant you were lost. He thought you were waiting in the shadows. But now, he's starting to feel the shift. The space he once filled with his chaos is now filled with your calm. The need you once had for him has been replaced with love for yourself. And soon, he'll realize something brutal. He didn't just lose you. He lost access to a life that was becoming golden. A woman who would have built empires with him now builds one without him. And here's the truth, lovely woman. He had a seat at your table. He had a place beside you, but he left. And the moment you chose silence over begging, healing over hurting, peace over chaos, that was the moment he lost everything. Because while he was looking for attention, you were finding your power. While he was chasing shallow, you were becoming deep. And now he has no idea how to reach the woman he once had so easily. You are not weak for staying silent. You are wise, strategic, and powerful, because silence doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means everything is happening. Behind the scenes, beneath the surface, beyond what he can see. You're not the woman who waits anymore. You're the woman who builds. Beautiful lady, he will look for you in every other smile. He will miss your presence in rooms filled with noise. He will hear your silence when he lays awake at night, wondering why everything feels so empty. And by the time he realizes what he lost, you'll be untouchable. So let him think you're just quiet. Let him think you're just distant. He has no idea you've been busy, rebuilding your kingdom, brick by brick, with nothing but silence and strength. He will see the result. And when he does, it will crush him. Not because you hurt him, but because you moved on without needing him. Dear lady, you are not broken. You are rebuilding. You are not waiting. You are rising. You are not silent. You are powerful. This is the moment you become what he never expected, unforgettable. Affirmation: while he doubted, I rebuilt. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. Let the world know your silence wasn't weakness. It was preparation. Number 8. He'll realize. Too late. It wasn't the silence that hurt. It was the love that disappeared with it. Have you ever watched a man walk away, smiling like he's won, only to see that smile fade when your silence stretches longer than he expected? At first, he doesn't notice. He thinks the quiet is just a phase. He believes you're still thinking about him, still checking your phone, still waiting for his return. But what he doesn't understand yet is this: what hurts him the most won't be your silence. It will be the love that disappeared with it. The love he thought would always be there. The love he never thought he could lose. He expected a reaction. He expected you to call, to cry, to fight for him. But when you went silent, something in him shifted. At first he thought it was peace, but slowly that silence became something else. A mirror, a storm, a truth he couldn't ignore. He started to feel the weight of what used to be, your support, your warmth, your loyalty. And that silence, it was not empty. It was filled with everything he no longer has. There's a quote that says, "The most painful goodbyes are the ones left unsaid and never explained." That's what makes your silence so powerful. It's not just quiet. It's a message that says, "I've finally had enough." And Queens, that message speaks louder than any words ever could. Because silence, when used with love, when used with intention, is not passive. It is power. And when a woman chooses silence over begging, distance over drama, that is the moment a man begins to crumble from the inside out. Think of a flower that bloomed every single day in his garden. Bright, beautiful, dependable. He got used to it. He stopped watering it. He stopped paying attention. Then one day, that flower stopped blooming. Not because it was weak, but because it was moved to a place where it would be loved. And now, all he has is the empty soil. That's what your absence feels like. That's what silence does. It doesn't just remove noise, it removes presence. And that presence was the only real thing he ever had. You see, he didn't realize that the silence meant your heart had stopped fighting for him. He thought time was on his side. But love doesn't wait forever. When your energy goes quiet, when your soul goes cold, when your love exits the room without a sound, that is the beginning of his downfall. Because words can lie, words can be ignored, but silence is truth. And the truth is, he lost the best thing he ever had. He'll go looking for you. He'll scroll through old messages, trying to hear your voice in his memory. He'll look at the door, expecting it to open again. But it won't. Because what he didn't know was, the silence didn't hurt him at first because he didn't think it would last. But now that silence is permanent. Now the love is gone. Now there's no more second chances. And that is the pain that will keep him awake at night. This isn't just about making him regret. This is about you, lovely woman. The one who gave, who tried, who stayed longer than she should have. And now you rise. Now you protect your energy. Now you reclaim the love you once poured into someone who didn't value it. That is what living as a queen looks like. Not revenge, not chaos, but silent power. Walking away with your head high and your heart no longer breaking for a man who couldn't keep it. Dear lady, he thought your silence was temporary. He thought your love would return. But now he realizes it's gone, and he will carry that truth with him, quietly, painfully, endlessly. So rise, dear woman, rebuild your peace, reinvent your joy. Your silence is not weakness, it is your rebirth. And the love he lost, he will feel that forever. Write this in the comments and claim it, queens. He didn't lose my words, he lost my love. Let that be the lesson he never forgets. If this message spoke to your heart, if it reminded you of your worth and your quiet power, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are working hard to create life-changing lessons for beautiful, unstoppable women like you. Because you were never meant to break. You were meant to reign.